There are some dream jobs out there that have these really specific kind of hidden risks. Today, we're talking about professional pilots and the one thing that can put their entire career on hold. Let's jump in.
I mean, who hasn't had that dream, right? Looking up at a plane, thinking about the thrill, the adventure, that feeling of freedom. It's this incredible image of skill and confidence. But behind that dream is a reality that's a lot more fragile than you might think.
It takes years and years of intense training, countless hours, and endless tests to earn the right to be in that cockpit. So what if I told you the biggest threat to a pilot's career isn't a storm or a mechanical problem, but a routine checkup? Yeah, that's the crazy paradox we're going to unpack.
So that brings us right to the heart of it, the pilot's hidden risk.
Okay, so this is the absolute key. Having a pilot's license is one thing, but having the permission to actually use it, that's something else entirely. And that permission is a medical certificate from the FAA. A pilot's whole livelihood, everything, depends on them meeting these super strict ongoing health rules.
And this unique situation creates a very specific problem, which brings us to our next section, grounded but not disabled.
Seriously, for a pilot, that medical form holds just as much power over their career as the actual flight controls. One piece of paper really is the difference between flying and being stuck on the ground, maybe for good.
Let's take something really common, like high blood pressure. A pilot could feel perfectly fine, totally healthy, 100% ready to do their job. But if their numbers aren't inside the very narrow lines drawn by the FFA, that's it. Medical certificate gone. They are grounded. And just like that, their career and a really good salary is just paused indefinitely.
And this is exactly where things get tricky with normal insurance. You'd think, oh, disability insurance will cover that, right? Well, not really. See, a standard policy usually only pays out if you're so injured you can't do any job. But what about our pilot with hypertension? They can absolutely go work a desk job. So traditional insurance says, sorry, you're not disabled. But they've lost that very specific medical permission to fly. That's the gap.
So how do you fill a gap like that? Well, you need a solution that was designed for this one very specific problem. You need a specialized safety net.
And this is it. It's called loss of license insurance. It was literally invented to cover this exact risk. It protects a pilot's income if they lose that all-important medical certificate because of their health, even if they're not disabled in the way we normally think about it.
Okay, so the idea makes sense, but how does it actually play out in real life? Let's break down how one of these policies works.
The journey of a claim is pretty straightforward, actually. First, some kind of sickness or injury happens that messes with the pilot's medical status. Then, what's called an elimination period, which is just a fancy term for a waiting period, kicks in. And after that wait is over, the monthly payments start coming in, and they'll keep coming for as long as the policy says.
And if you look at these policies, you'll see a few key things. The benefit period, that's just how long the payments last. The elimination period is that waiting time we just talked about. Now this next one is huge. Waiver of premium. It means you don't have to pay your insurance bill while you're getting paid by the insurance. And non-cancelable term, this one gives you real peace of mind. It means the insurance company can't just change the rules or raise your prices on you.
Now, when we say professional pilot, I bet most of us get a picture of an airline captain in our heads. But the job is so much bigger than that. It's time to look beyond the airline cockpit.
So who exactly are we talking about here? Who needs this very specific kind of protection? Well, the answer is probably a lot broader than you think.
Yeah, it's not just the people flying you on your vacation. Think about all the other aviators whose careers hang on that medical certificate. We're talking corporate pilots, cargo pilots moving goods all over the world, even aerial applicators who are so vital for farming. And the list just keeps going. Firefighter pilots who battle wildfires from the sky, the amazing pilots in air shows, test pilots who fly planes that have never been flown before, and air ambulance pilots on life-saving missions.
But all of this kind of brings us to a final thought. The pilot situation is pretty unique, but it gets you thinking, doesn't it? What other professions have these invisible tripwires, these single points of failure that can end a career that most of us on the outside just never, ever see?